You think that injustice is only in African countries. You think that injustice doesn't really exist every single places. It does. In every single country. The only thing you should pray to God is, Father, provide me money. May I not be caught in a situation whereby my poverty will make them not recognize the justice they are supposed to give me. Because that is a typical example of what happened in this particular clips that you guys are about to watch. Let it make sense to me that this particular young boy committed this crime when he was 17, and as at the time that he was 18, he was arrested. People that he actually committed this crime on came to attest to it. They came to testify that yes, he literally did this. He was found guilty. But what happened? Because his mother have that thing called money, they have to twist the case. Instead of sending this boy after having so many felony counts, instead of sending him to where he really belonged to, which is prison or cell, as you guys normally know it, for him to be able to walk out and regret why he actually commits that, so that whenever he comes out of that cell, he will not be able to realize and know that, okay, these are the things that I should do or I should not do. No, it doesn't really work like that. The boy is doing what? He is in the rehabilitation center. When I look at this video, I cried and I told myself, Father Lord, provide for my black folks money that they can use for themselves and their family. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. Because let it make sense to me that after rehabilitation center, this boy will not still commit more than what he has been doing. And later on, they will come out and start yelling, start crying, start opening their dirty mouth, that most people that commit crimes are mostly black folks. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. Sonia here. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. Let's watch this horrible story together, and I'll be back with commentaries. Let's go, guys.
Introduce you to Jesse Butler really quickly, because Jesse here was facing 78 years in prison for repeatedly violently raping, physically assaulting, and strangling 2 girls he dated. He was facing 10 felony charges, and then an additional one was added on for breaking a protection order. Jesse here just got the most insane sweetheart plea deal. Instead of facing 78 years in prison, they make a deal that if he pleads no contest, they will charge him as a youthful offender. Mind you, he was 17 when this happened. He is 18 now. And as a youthful offender, Jesse will only face 1 year of rehabilitation and community service. 1 year, not a single day in jail. And the things that he did to these girls are unspeakable. I'm gonna go through some of what he did, and I just want to give a warning really quickly because it makes me sick to my stomach. For the first victim in this case, they use the acronym LS, and she is 16 years old, and she told a school resource officer that she had dated Jesse for months, and during that time, he physically and sexually assaulted her multiple times. In one instance, they were in a parking lot outside of an ice cream shop, and he asked if they could have sex. She said no, and he raped her anyways. The rape was extremely violent, and LS started screaming, and a woman actually came up to the car to see what was going on. And Butler told her that if she called the police, they would both get in trouble. Afterwards, he said he was sorry for what he did, but he had to do it. Ellis told him that she needed to get home, so he drove her home, but before they got to her house, he ended up raping her again. He pulled her on top of him and said, "You're not going until I'm finished." He was eventually able to escape and run home. In a second instance, he forced her to perform oral sex on him in another parking lot, and his mom called during it, and he answered and told her she needed to be quiet or he would beat her. In another instance, Ellis said that she was in his family's movie room, and his mom heard her screaming and crying and saying no, and came down, asked if everything was okay, and then just ended up leaving. Gotta love moms who enable their rapists and abuser sons. The next time she said no, he started strangling her. She started hyperventilating and then recalled her vision being blurry and becoming dizzy. She reported her head immediately hurt, and she was confused about what occurred. She was scared of Butler, but when she regained consciousness, Butler was laughing at her following the incident, and she had a handprint and injury to her neck. Laughing like a psychopath. After this, she was examined and doctors confirmed that she was physically and sexually assaulted. She was finally able to escape him in March of 2024. After Ellis escapes Butler, he starts dating another girl referred to as KS in the affidavit. And after their initial love bombing phase, he continued his behavior. KS reported that she engaged in sexual intercourse with Jesse Butler throughout the term of their relationship and did so to prevent physical aggression from him. When KS told Butler he was hurting her, he did not care and would not stop. She reported that the intercourse was extremely aggressive because he would overpower and hurt her to get his way. Between the trauma of what was happening to her and her unable to physically get him off of her, she starts hyperventilating, and he laughs at her and thinks it's funny. And unsurprisingly, Jesse also started strangling KS. In one instance, KS was house sitting and Jesse came over and wanted to have sex, but she said no because she wanted to respect the homeowners. Next thing you know, he's strangling her so long and so forcefully that she ends up passing out. She wakes up on the floor of the house she was house sitting, and Butler is still livid that she won't have sex with him. But regardless of almost killing her and her saying no, he proceeds to rape her 3 or 4 times. He strangled her again, and this time it was even more sinister. He told her he wanted to strangle her so he could film it on his phone. Jesse set up his phone to record, got on top of her, and strangled her until she lost consciousness. By the way, after 30 seconds of strangulation, temporary or even permanent brain damage can occur. And around 4 minutes or even sooner, you can die. In my opinion, this guy should also be facing charges for attempted murder. And the police find the video on his phone, and he's still not serving any jail time. Such a joke. And for anyone who may be in an abusive relationship, if your partner strangles you, the chances of them killing you go up by 750%. Please get out as soon as you are able to do so safely. I can't even express how angry I am right now. And the worst part of it all was like, I hope this guy just has the worst existence ever after this. But then realize that since he's charged as a youthful offender, this is going to be wiped from his record at 19. Tell me again how accusations of sexual assault ruin men's lives?
In the United States of America is getting rehabilitation and community service for raping and injuring 2 high school girls. Jesse's white privilege is allowing him to walk free after 11 felony charges, 2 of which were first-degree rape charges, and he strangled his victims. Now, this Oklahoma judge, Susan Worthington, decided that Jesse Butler, who was facing 80 years in prison for his SA charges, should be treated as a youthful offender rather than an adult. Many are speculating that the reason why Judge Susan Worthington gave Jesse such a light sentence is because of her ties to Oklahoma State University, in which she has 2 degrees. Well, Jesse comes from a prominent family in Oklahoma in which his dad was the former director of Oklahoma State University football. And that's how privilege in this nation works. Typically, white families have people in positions of power and influence that can help them in times such as this. But this is why I'm so passionate about our criminal justice system. This smug POS got the benefit of the doubt and treated as a child, seen as a child in the eyes of the law. My best friend here was sentenced to 20 years at the age of 16 for a crime in which no one was hurt. He had 1 felony, as opposed to Jesse's 11. In fact, the Department of Juvenile Justice recommended that Rashawn get a rehabilitation program rather than prison. Instead, the judge gave him 20 years in prison, followed by 10 years of probation. He just came home like 2 months ago. He wasn't given the privilege of being seen as a kid, and he was 16 and nobody was hurt. And anyone who's done any bit of research on our criminal injustice system will know that this is not the exception, but the norm.
May disturb some of y'all. Viewer discretion is advised. Kid Jesse from Oklahoma just beat 2 counts of rape and 3 counts of rape by instrumentation. He also beat 1 count of forcible oral sodomy, 2 counts of domestic assault and battery by strangulation. And peep this, y'all. He recorded them and kept them like they was some kind of trophies, bruh. A kid. How do you be that young, bro, and you think to sodomize? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is not the first case I've seen this year where other kids are sodomizing other kids. Like, what is going on with these kids' mental? This shit gonna make me cry just talking about this shit, man. What is going on at home? Now, they saying he got off scot-free because he got connections. And all he got is some community service time and some light bullshit. And pardon my French, y'all, but how could I talk about this and not get upset? They literally just released the predator back into the world, y'all. And that's exactly what I mean. This is not a child. This is a predator. You mean to tell me that these traumatized little girls have to come back into this world knowing that he exists somewhere? This is white privilege at its finest, bro. Because everybody know if he was this right here, he'd be held in court until he turned of age, and then he'll be tried as an adult. Anybody that's having sexual predator thoughts like this should be tried as an adult. How could y'all get this kid a slap on the wrist? Now, if you stay in Oklahoma, and specifically Stillwater, Oklahoma, you need to take this to court, because there's still a predator on the loose, and your child could be...
I need you to stop and listen to this story because this predator's face needs to be everywhere. Now, these are his charges, and this story is going to fill you with a kind of anger and rage that you probably haven't felt in a long time. His name is Jesse Mack Butler, and he's 18, a high school athlete from Stillwater, Oklahoma, which is the same town where Oklahoma State University is. His dad, Mack Butler, is OSU's former director of football operations, and his mom, maybe even his sister, still work at OSU, and that'll matter in a second. Oh, and by the way, make sure to hit that follow button. So, when Jesse was 17, he was charged as an adult, facing 78 years in prison for SA in horrific assaults that left at least one girl hospitalized. One victim said that she told him no, and he choked her until she blacked out. Doctors say 30 more seconds and she would have been dead. When she came to, he did it again because he wanted to record it on his phone. So, he pled guilty, admitting what he did, and he was set to spend decades behind bars. But then Judge Susan Worthington comes along, a woman with deep ties to OSU and its athletic community. She stepped in and reclassified him as a youthful offender, and that single move wiped out the entire adult conviction and the 78-year sentence that came along with it. From there, he changed his plea to no contest, which still means he admitted to what he did, and the court found a factual basis for every charge. But how long did he get? Well, it certainly wasn't 78 years. He got 150 hours of community service. Along with it came a curfew, counseling, and supervision by the Office of Juvenile Affairs until his 19th birthday, which is less than a year away. After that, the state's jurisdiction ends, and his record gets expunged, no SO list. His psychological evaluation and rehabilitation plan are sealed, so the public can't even see why the court thought he deserved to walk free. And according to people close to the case, he's still messaging girls, asking if they're single, asking to hook up, while he is still enrolled, at least virtually, at Stillwater High School. Meanwhile, his victims live with the trauma the court can't erase. This is what happens when power protects privilege. Someone can admit everything, face nearly 8 decades, and walk out with community service all because of who he's connected to and a plea deal. If that doesn't make you furious or beyond furious, it should, because this isn't justice, it is permission. He will offend again, probably next year at college where he has alcohol to help ply his victims. So here's my call to action. Share this story. Share his face. Let every woman in that community, every girl on campus know exactly who he is. And if you want to help stop this from happening again, there's a petition in my bio. Sign it, share it, and speak up. Because until we fix this system, there will always be another Jesse Mack Butler walking free while his victims pay the price. As always, drop your thoughts in the comments on how this makes you feel. And of course, make sure to hit that follow button.
And I need you to memorize this face. If you ever see this man near a school, a locker room, or anywhere close to your daughter, pay attention and act fast, because what a court just allowed in Stillwater, Oklahoma will make your blood boil. Now I'm going to read off his charges, and then I'm going to tell you what his punishment was, and you are going to be shocked. So I'm speaking in code here. 2 counts of attempted grape. 3 counts of an instrument. Use your imagination. 1 count intimate battery. 1 count forcible. 2 counts domestic assault and battery by strangulation. 1 count domestic assault and battery. 1 count violating a protective order. In March, he was 17 and he was charged as an adult. But wait till you hear what happened. He pleaded not guilty, but the DA office struck a deal with his lawyers, changing him from an adult offender to a youthful offender. Now, in August, he changed his plea from not guilty to no contest. This is where the violating the protective order was added to his charge list. That day, he was sentenced to 78 years in prison. However, as a youthful offender, he was eligible for a rehabilitation program, which was drawn up by the Oklahoma Office of Juvenile Affairs and that plan was presented to the court last week and accepted. Now, his new punishment is daily check-ins, weekly counseling, a curfew, no social media, no, and 150 hours of community service. This plan stays in effect until Jesse Mack Butler is 19, which is less than a year from now. If he complies with his punishment, his record will be wiped clean, and he won't be on any registries, so no one will ever know if he moves out of town what he's capable of. Now, in my next video, I'll go over exactly how bad these injuries were. I'm not done with Jesse Mack Butler yet. I'm going to make sure his picture is plastered everywhere on all of my content for a little while, because this is awful, and he shouldn't get away with this.
Apparently in Oklahoma, you can essay someone, nearly choke them to death, and get a slap on the wrist. Everyone meet Jesse Butler. He was 17 at the time he committed the crimes, but 18 at the time of sentencing. There wasn't just one victim. There were multiple girls that came forward. One said he strangled her until she passed out. Then when she woke up, told her he wanted to do it again and then record it. She was strangled so violently she had to get stitches in the side of her neck. He didn't just commit the crime, he wanted to relive it later. That's not someone trying to suppress their behavior, that's someone feeding it. Originally, he was facing 78 years, but instead of adult prison, the judge decided to classify him as a youthful offender. And now he's under a so-called rehabilitation plan. And if he plays by the rules until he's 19, he will spend no time in jail. The judge said this was about giving him a second chance to reform. He didn't just hurt people, he learned he could. And now he knows how far he can go. I will not post pictures of his family. You can look into that. But what I will say is I do think this comes down to status in the community. The judge believed he could be reformed due to status. If he's old enough to plan and execute a crime like that, is he old enough to serve time for it? Yes or no?
RAPE. Strangulation. SODOMY. Assault. 2 different girls. This man went to court. He did those things more. Pled no contest, except the judge decided 78 years. He almost killed one of the girls. Both girls fought to be heard. Were brave, went to court. Oklahoma has decided because his family is big, wealthy, he gets to be included the Youthful Offenders Program, which means his juvenile record so if this, not even a boy or a man, this thing, we as people don't claim him, approaches your kid, yell at the top of your lungs because they are not safe. And Oklahoma apparently doesn't care about keeping our kids safe. I know, no one's shocked.
Jesse Mack Butler got a sweet deal that I exposed in my last videos, but now it's time to talk about how he got that deal and who made it happen. And I'm naming names. Let's be very clear. Jesse Mack Butler didn't avoid prison by accident. This wasn't a glitch, and it wasn't a misunderstanding. People in power protected him, and today I'm going to show you exactly who they are. Jesse Mack Butler from Stillwater, Oklahoma was charged with 11 felonies. Police found video on his phone of him assaulting girls. One girl was strangled unconscious and had to go emergency vascular surgery. We're talking about severe trauma. That is attempted murder territory, but he was never charged with that. Ask yourself why. So who made this disappear into a youthful offender loophole sweetheart deal? Well, let me show you. First up, we have Judge Susan C. Worthington. She approved the youthful offender classification that let Butler avoid prison entirely. Next, we have District Attorney Laura Austin Thomas. Her office agreed to the deal instead of pushing for real prison time. Next up is the executive director of Oklahoma Office of Juvenile Affairs, who will now be supervising him like he's some troubled teen and not a violent predator. His name is Timothy Tartabono. He was handed a fake 78-year sentence on paper, but the court stayed it, meaning he doesn't serve a single day in prison as long as he follows his rehab program. Rehab after strangling a girl unconscious? Make that make sense. And he isn't on any registry. You will not be notified if he moves next door to you. He could be anywhere right now. This wasn't justice. This was power protecting violence.
Please tell me why the American justice system has to be absolute bad at everything. This is Jesse Mack Butler, a high school athlete who was arrested for, you never guess what it was, serious SA. R, ape, and strangulation. When he was 17 years old, he had 2 victims that he repeatedly assaulted on multiple occasions. He would strangle them to near death, do what he has to do. When they wake up, he'll strangle them to death and do it all over again and again and again and again. And one of the victims had to get surgery on her neck to fix the issues that she was having. This human piece of garbage was facing up to 80 years in prison, and he was also being charged as an adult. But then the American justice system goes, nah gang, you good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, he even had videos on his phone of him doing these heinous acts to these girls. But then somehow, the charges moved, and then he was reclassified as a youthful offender. Sitting in the courtroom, dressed like Patrick Mahomes, pleads no contest, and he dodges every ounce of prison time. But now instead, you know what he gets? Rehab and community service. Like, I understand to be a judge you have to have a level of empathy, but listen, good people do exist, bad people do exist. But good people sometimes make bad decisions. Bad people make selfish ones, and he is absolutely evil. Like, what kind of message does this send? That if you're a promising athlete, that the rules bend for you? That if your crime is horrific enough, you can just fall under youthful and just walk away scot-free? That the survivors' voices don't fucking matter? If you genuinely think that this is okay, wake up. If you don't agree with this, share this, spread the word, because justice isn't about what could happen. It's about what already happened. Thank you.
Be doing 78 years for 5 different women? But he walk away freely? Y'all ain't gonna believe this shit. Nah, I'm pissed off, y'all. If this don't prove the white privilege, 18-year-old Jesse Butler, a high school athlete from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Let me tell y'all about this sick fuck. He like to play with himself with objects while he strangle women. Not only that though, y'all, and he like to videotape it. This all happened when he was in high school last year in 2024. Now he played guilty to all these charges, facing up to 78 years in prison. One victim was hospitalized after she told him no. He choked her out until she blacked out. Doctor said she had 30 seconds or she would have been dead. Nah, y'all, like when she got her breath, he did it again because he said he wanted to record it on his phone. Now, he admitted what he did and pled guilty. This when his shit get twisted. He's supposed to be locked up, right? Now, his dad, Matt Butler, is OSU's former director in football operations. Now, his mom, maybe his sister still worked there. So the judge that was on the case, Susan Waterton, whatever the fuck her name is, did not charge him as an adult. She charged him as a child because she got deep ties to Oklahoma State University and she a big donor. You mean to tell me all these charges and he ain't getting nothing? Bitch. Of course she gave him some time. And guess how much time she gave him? 156 hours? The fuck? Oh yeah, and when he turned 18, yeah, his record was expunged. And the little asshole show up in court like this too, like slap in the face like, okay. He said he's still on dating now. He's still hitting up females trying to get them to come over.
This is gonna make your blood boil, but I need you guys to look into Jesse Butler out of Oklahoma. Jesse Butler raped 2 17-year-old girls, left one of them on the brink of death after he strangled them, raped them both, recorded it, and then was staring down 10 felonies. Now, the part that's going to make your blood boil, if all that didn't do it already, was that now, instead of 80 some odd years, he got 1 year of rehab. Not 1 year of parole. Not 1 year of jail time. 1 year of rehabilitation. So he was first supposed to be tried as an adult. They lowered it down to a youthful offender, I think it was called. And then now he pled all the way out and he's going to see not a single day in jail. When we say there are 2 systems of justice in this country, this is exactly why. And you guys wonder why we don't consider this.
You
young girls and was facing 80 years in prison, but somehow now all he has to do was a year of rehabilitation and no prison time. Listen to this shit. Jesse Mack Butler, a high school baseball star, he was facing 80 years in prison, charged as an adult because of the heinous rapes that he perpetuated on the two 16-year-old girls who were alleged girlfriends of his. One of them, he literally choked unconscious, and because he got a sweetheart deal with the DA's office and the fucking judge signed off on it, now he has a year of bullshit rehabilitation that he has to do, and he's going to face no fucking prison time. When women say that they're afraid to speak out when they're assaulted and fucking raped because the criminal justice system in this country does not take them seriously, look at this shit. He raped 2 fucking girls, and he's not gonna face any fucking time. And because, you know, he has friends in high places, that's how this shit always goes for these fucking white people, he can do whatever the fuck he wants and get the fuck away with it. This has got to be some of the most disgusting shit that I've ever seen, especially when we keep on seeing the criminalization of black boys who are younger than him, facing more time than him for more minor fucking crimes. This type of shit right here, white people can do whatever the fuck in this country, and
What the fuck is wrong with Oklahoma right now? Like, can someone please explain to me what in the fuck is wrong in Oklahoma right now? Because this is Jesse Butler. If you haven't heard this story, let me just refresh you. I have it up on my computer. Jesse Butler, 18 years old, recently entered a no contest plea to 11 felony charges, including attempted first-degree rape, strangulation, and violating a protective order. 11? So he was originally charged in March as an adult, but he's now being prosecuted as a youthful offender for rape, sexual battery, and domestic assault, and battery by strangulation. This is a quote from one of the victims, which, just trigger warning, "You didn't just strangle me with your hands. You strangled my voice, my joy, my ability to feel safe in my own body." Jesse's father, Mac Butler, is the former director of football operations at Oklahoma State University. Hi, Mac. A police affidavit reviewed by Fox News detailed brutal acts, including a girlfriend who said that she was repeatedly raped and strangled if she refused. And a doctor warned that she would have died in one instance if the strangulation lasted only seconds longer. So what does this mean with him being under the Oklahoma's Youthful Offender Program? This means that even though he will be sentenced to a total of 78 years, he will not serve prison time unless he violates the plan's conditions. This is another example of the system failing victims.
Oh, God of mercy. Tell me how will this person not come out of the rehabilitation center and still commit more crimes in the society? Tell me how this person is fit to be among people that are okay. Tell me that this person does not have any mental issue and his mom did not see anything wrong with it. You can hear from the first clip a scenario whereby his mom was even around, hearing the girl scream, but cannot go and clean the mess because she knew she have a dog, as far as I'm concerned. The first advice I will give right now in this video is, ladies, please do not take anything for granted. Do not take anything for granted. When someone is doing something that you do not like, do not hesitate to leave the relationship, for crying out loud. A 17 years old boy doing all of this, and the parent did not see anything. They don't see anything. These are people that keep pulling out children to the community that are spoiling the community every single day. What's flying here? Every single day. They keep constituting nuisance to the community. Because why? They already know that they have a parent that will come as a savior to them and then will just let them go free. Not even a single year that this boy is serving in the prison. Not even just 1 or 2 years so that he can actually learn from his mistake. In fact, this boy is even supposed to be charged attempted murder, for crying out loud. But no, money is involved as far as I'm concerned. Injustice prevails. This was literally the case of a girl called Ochanya in Nigeria, where this girl was literally staying with her aunt. Her parents were sending her fee, and the main reason why she have to go stay with her aunt is because her parents live in the village and they don't want her to have poor quality education. Now they sent her to her auntie. Guess what? The husband of the auntie and the son of the auntie were RAPE this girl until she contracted an infection that child or children that are underage that are pierced contact when they are not in the full maturity stage to have the XEX. And after that, guess what? Took the man to court. We later lost this girl because she died. We are still screaming justice for her for the case to be reopened. Took this man to court. The judge found that he saw all the evidence but claimed that no enough evidence to prove it. And this man and his son was discharged and acquitted because they have money over this family. But I'm so excited because they're not taking it slowly. We keep screaming justice until the case is being reopened. Let's see what this new face of this case will be. Now, why am I bringing this? This man's son that did this in Nigeria is still literally moving her up and down. He is moving up and down. Tell me that this man's son will not have other opportunities to go and RAP other girls. This is the same incident that just happened here now. Because your son made all of this nonsense, blunder, you can't even say, okay, let him serve 5 good years in prison, or 10 good years, or even 2 years, or even 1 year. No, he's going to the rehabilitation center and community because he is. He is. I'm so tired, I'm so angry, I'm so frustrated, I'm so pained to my stomach. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. Let me know what you think in the comment section. We do not support any form of violence here. And thank you so much for staying stick and with me to the end of this video. With no further ado, I'm going to say bye and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.